Good morning. We'll start a new chapter of gravitation, session 1. So we all know the concept about gravitation, right? So vaguely or just the known fact about gravitation. So what is gravitation? Anything you throw that actually falls down. That's because of the gravitational force what we have here. So what is this gravitational force? This gravitational force is a type of a force which will bind us together. Us in the sense bind two objects together. Let that be we and earth. So we are the object on the earth. If I consider, it is binding us as well as the earth together. So that is a gravitational force. So in general also we have to talk about standard 8th you had the chapter stars and solar system, right? Where we understood that sun and the other planets, now other planets revolve about the sun. So how is this possible? That's only because of the gravitational force, right? Due to the gravitational force, only these planets can revolve about the sun in their own orbits, and as well these planets which are revolving do not just fall and collapse into each other because there is some type of force which is binding them together to revolve rather than falling into its orbit, right? The similar type of force. And children, here we are just going to just briefly going upon this chapter. Like we understand what is gravitational force, universal law of gravitation and many more concepts, but still I can tell that is we are just touching upon the brief part, not the depth about it. So in this chapter we will be studying the definition, what is gravitation, universal law of gravitation, a very important concept which is given by Newton's universal law of gravitation. Yeah, Newton has also given 3 laws. Now these all laws are also based on, how he gave the universal law of gravitation, that's only because he could give those 3 laws. Then we study about free fall, acceleration due to gravity, mass and weight. We already about mass and weight, a bit of concept we have studied in the previous force and in the chapter force, but still there is a huge difference between a mass and a weight. Archimedes principle. Under Archimedes principle, briefly we will study about what is buoyancy, and in that before this we will also be studying one part which I have forgotten to mention about pressure, thrust and pressure. Then the last is about density and relative density. So about Archimedes principle or about density when I talk about, we are just going to touch upon the few concepts which are actually required as per your book. So let's start again. What is gravitation? The force that binds together the objects is called as the gravitation, or I can also define that as it is the force that binds us to the earth. Like see, now we know gravitation. If I ask you what is gravitation, you will tell whatever I throw it will fall down, right? That is gravitation, we all know. Definition wise, how we have to define it? You can define it in these terms. So how did this come into practice, or how did this actually happen? What is it? What is that force that binds us to the earth? We all know that story, that one day Newton was sitting under a tree. So an apple fell on his head. So with that he started to analyze that why did the apple fall down? Why did not the apple after falling, why did not it go up, or why did not it bounce back? Why did the apple fall down? From there the theory started actually, and thus to the where gravitational universal law of gravitation was given. There are even many jokes or so many stories behind that. Instead of an apple, what would have happened if a tree would have fallen on Newton? There would be no Newton's law, right? But there would be somebody else who would have given these laws of motion if it was not Newton. So actually if you see, it is not the apple which fell on his head, but the concept what it came to his mind was anything which falls on anything which falls down, that falls to the ground, right? That is because there is some force which is binding it together, and that force is nothing but gravitation force. So here we understood that there are two forces which are binding together. That means there is some force of attraction which is attracting each other. That means then why are we not being attracted to the earth? Why are we not falling it immediately? Or why not earth is being attracted to us? So that's a question. We will understand that as we proceed with this in universal law of gravitation, right? Let's proceed further. I've written another, what is gravitational force? Now gravitation, what is gravitation we understood. What is gravitational force? The force of attraction between any two particles, any two object I can tell here is. If it can be a object or it can be a earth. So the force of attraction between any two particles in the universe is called gravitational force. Important concept of definitions what you have to just know. Now comes the most important part of this chapter, of this lesson, gravitation, is Newton's law of gravitation. The most asked question. If it is asked for 1 mark, only the definition is asked. What is Newton's law of gravitation? State universal law of gravitation. State Newton's law of gravitation. The most asked question. For 1 mark, it's only the question. If it is asked for 3 marks, then you have to give a small derivation. It's not big derivation. It's the formula to what we arrive at, right? So let's understand what is this. According to Newton, every mass or every object. Now what is mass? We already know. So every object in the universe attracts every other object or mass. You can use the word here, mass or object, anyone. At first I have written both. Anything can be used. Every mass in the universe attracts every other mass with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the masses, product of the two masses, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. What does this mean now? See, the thing is, if you have to remember this statement, now what derivation I do, that is when I arrive at the formula, that is force of gravitation, gravitational force formula I will arrive. That formula, if you remember, reading that formula, you can actually write this. Let's see how. First of all, every object in the universe attracts every other object. So let me consider an object of mass m, and this is another object of mass m. So these two objects can attract each other. So when we say these will attract each other, simple. If I have two magnets, can these magnets attract each other? Under what conditions they attract? If they are nearer, they attract. If I push them farther, they do not attract. But of course, magnet has a property of repelling also, but here there is no concept of repelling. Imagine that these are to make you understand. If this is a magnet and I have kept two magnets here, what will be the force of attraction of the magnet? The force of attraction of the magnet will be nothing but directly proportional to the product of masses. I take two bigger magnets, so force of attraction is more, of course. I take smaller magnets, the force of attraction will be of course less. So, and the distance between them, I come to it. Every mass in the universe attracts every other mass with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the masses. So these two will attract each other such a way that the force of gravitation is directly proportional to the product of the masses. Right? Why directly proportional? Bigger magnets if you take, because magnet is the best example I can give you. It can attract, the force of attraction is more. Smaller the magnet, the force of attraction is less. So directly proportional to the masses. And in case if the magnets are near to each other and far to each other, that also matters. How? To the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The gravitational force which is acting on this, right, is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The square of the distance, when we take that, see in the book they have given as d also, distance. I have considered d as r. R is distance between these two, what I have considered here. Distance is always considered from the centers of two masses. Center of this mass and center of this mass, what I consider, this distance is termed as r. R is not radius here, huh? Please make sure that it is distance. We'll write it at the end. What does r term, what does m term, and what does r small m term. Why it is inversely proportional? Now these magnets, suppose I bring them closer. Force of attraction, magnets are coming coming closer, force of attraction is more. Magnets are going far, force of attraction is being less. So what is happening? Force is inversely proportional to the distance, right? Square of the distance. Why square of the distance? One object to another, another object to this object again. So if I combine these two, what do I get? So I will just erase this part. Right? The derivation exactly it is given in your notebook, children. That is, in my notes I have mentioned how you have to write it. Let M and let this capital M and small m be the mass of two objects, right? And Fg or F be the gravitational force acting on them. Then R is the distance between two masses from their centers. Okay? Then, according to universal law of gravitation, I will write here. See this together. I just wrote this to explain you. Now, after writing that sentence, what is that sentence? How do we write in derivation? We have to describe what we have given, right? This is the figure. That's all for the derivation. What you have to do. Let capital M and small m be the mass of the given objects. F be the force of gravitational force acting on these objects. And R be the distance between the center of the two objects of mass, right? Then, according to universal law of gravitation, force is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the masses, right? Whenever we have a proportionality symbol, what do? We try to remove the proportionality symbol and give something as a universal constant. So I can write this as F is equal to G M upon R square. So this G where G is universal gravitational constant and the value of G is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. There is some SI unit. How to write? If I directly write the SI unit, you have to again by heart it. Let me tell you how will I arrive at the SI unit there. Okay? I want the SI unit for G. If I want the SI unit for G, what I am supposed to do? This I am supposed to multiply F into R square upon M into M is equal to G I will get. SI unit of force is what? Newton. SI unit of distance is what? Meter. R is the distance between them. So meter 2 times it is R square. Meter square slash SI unit of mass is kg. Mass, how many times I have? I have 2 times the mass. So what is gravitational constant value? How did I arrive at the gravitational constant value, children? You have a calculation here. In numericals we'll be doing this. Need not worry. Calculate universal gravitational constant they will give you. Where you should know what is the mass of the object given. They will give you that. Okay? And we will calculate. We have a numericals based on this where we arrive at the gravitational constant. But SI unit, did you understand how did we arrive? Let's write. So SI unit is Newton meter square per kg square. Okay? I'll erase this part. This was just for your clarification which I gave. So, a very important concept. Now tell me, if you read this part, can you define this? We can define. We can say that every mass in this universe attracts every other mass with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their masses. That gives the definition of universal, that is Newton's universal law of gravitation. So, based on the Newton's universal law of gravitation, what is the importance of this universal law of gravitation? Another important question asked generally for, otherwise it's asked in a combination. State universal law of gravitation and mention its importance. You can give this. The force that binds us, it can also be as an application. So on what are the applications on which these are applied was the force that binds us to the earth. That was the very first and foremost thing what I had told you. Motion of the moon around the earth as discussed. Motion of the planets around the sun. The tides due to moon and sun. So for tides, I think you've already studied high tides, low tides. We are not discussing on that. So that also plays a very important role with respect to universal law of gravitation. The next important concept here in this chapter is about free fall of an object and acceleration due to gravity or acceleration. Here acceleration, when we talk about, it comes with respect to gravitational force or gravitational constant. That is what we have studied. Now why this acceleration comes in terms of gravity? Because now what is acceleration? Now basically when we talk about force is nothing but product of mass into acceleration, right? So what force we apply on an object, it depends upon how much force we have to apply on the object. It depends upon nothing but its mass and how much the object is accelerating. So in other words, if I have to talk about this, acceleration is nothing but, right? So it is inversely proportional to mass and it is directly proportional to force. More force, more acceleration. Less force, less acceleration. Lesser is the mass or more is the mass. One best example I'll give you. In exams, why do we use a pen which is very light, right, to write? We chose a pen in such a way that it is very light in writing, or you use a heavy pen in writing. Why is that not possible? That's because, let us consider the mass. Heavier the pen, your writing goes very slow. Lighter the pen, your writing goes very fast. Best example here. Acceleration is inversely proportional to mass, right? So more is the mass, that means it will accelerate slowly. Less is the mass, it can accelerate faster. So acceleration being inversely proportional to mass. Now the concept here can be applied that why not Earth is coming towards us, right? That's only because the mass of the Earth. So the mass of the Earth is so huge that even if it is accelerating, it is very negligibly. So Earth will not come towards us. That is what we discussed in the beginning. Why are these two forces are not falling on each other, right? That's the explanation. Only for your understanding, what you can understand here, you have again in depth studying about this in your 11th and 12th standard. So about here, acceleration here when we talk with respect to the gravitational force, because I need to know how is the object moving, whether the object is moving towards the earth or whether the object is moving against the earth. That tells us about the gravitation, right? What is free fall here? What do you mean by a free fall? Something which is freely falling is called a free fall. But the definition is the fall under the influence of the earth. Now what do you mean by influence of the earth? Now which is falling under the influence of the earth means anything which you make it to fall down, it is free falling. Under the influence of the earth is nothing but under the influence of the gravity is called as a free fall of an object. Definition asks for 1 mark. What is free fall? This definition you can write. All these points what I have mentioned here on the board are as well given in the notes neatly in detailed form. Next, the uniform acceleration. Now when we see that an object is freely falling, will the object starts moving in crisscross direction? Will the direction of the object change when it is falling? No. But what about the velocity? The velocity changes because the body is getting accelerated, which is coming down. But how? Uniformly accelerated, right? So the uniform acceleration produced in a freely falling object due to the gravitational force of the earth is called acceleration due to gravity. Now what is acceleration? Rate of change of velocity is acceleration. Now acceleration with respect to gravity, when I am talking about, it is the uniform change in velocity of an object which is falling towards the earth. That means children, any object which is falling towards the earth will have positive acceleration due to gravity, positive g. Any object which is going against the earth will have negative g. That means what? Suppose if I throw a ball, the ball is going from ground to top, right? Acceleration of the ball is minus g. It is going against gravity. If I make the ball to free fall, that is the ball is fallen from a height of a so and so building. That means under the gravity it is falling. Acceleration is plus. G is plus. So that is what I tried to explain here. Now next we found out the value of, this is gravitational constant G, right? This is different. Gravitational constant, universal gravitational constant it is, which binds the two things. Now we are going to study about acceleration due to gravity, which is G, and value of G, what is value of G? Acceleration due to gravity, this gravity, how to find this value of G? We again have a small, not a derivation, a calculation part, and that calculation part can also be asked as a numerical or find the value of G. A direct question can be asked on that. Let's see how do we get or how much do we get the value of G, and that is a constant value. Okay, let's find out that. So, if they ask you to find the value of G, this is how to find out. So, again let's write the derivation form. The force, let the force acting on the object be. This is from our universal gravitational law. That is G, mass of the earth and mass of the object, and square of the distance between the earth to object from their centers. Where ME represents mass of the earth, mass of the object, and radius of the earth, let us consider here. Square of the distance because from here then to back here, what we are checking. If acceleration due to gravity, due to force F, if it is acting on this, then force is given by product of mass into acceleration, where acceleration is nothing but G here. From equation 1 and 2, now what I will do here is, instead of F, right, I will substitute mg is equal to this, right? So this is force of gravitation. Now this is force which is acting due to gravitational force. Write this, where we can cancel mass and mass here. So what will remain? Your acceleration due to gravity is nothing but gravitational constant into mass of the earth divided by square of the distance between them, that is radius of the earth. Square of the radius of the earth. To find the value of G, we need to substitute the values for gravitational constant, mass of the earth and radius of the earth. Usually children, these values are given. To be on the safer side, you can as well remember the constant value of mass of the earth and radius of the earth. Gravitational constant is anyhow remembered. Universal gravitational constant, you have to remember that. So G is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Mass of the earth is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg, and radius of the earth is 6.37 into 10 raised to 6 meter. Then G is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into 6 into 10 raised to 24 divided by 6.37 into 10 raised to 6 square. Calculation part is very lengthy here. We have only one or two numericals which are based on these, where we have a very lengthy calculation, but we will see that in numericals as well once. But here children, remember the value of G, you need not do the further calculation. You can write this much and directly arrive at the constant value of G, that is 9.8 meters per second square. Acceleration SI unit is also meters per second square. G value is also 9.8 meters per second square, right? This value of G is constant. 9.8 meters per second square. Approximately this value is also taken as 10 meters per second square. Like how you know, in the numericals when we are solving, the numericals which are based on acceleration due to gravity, if they have not mentioned anything about acceleration due to gravity, we are supposed to use the value as the same thing here. Or if they mention that, I will let you know. Either we have to use 9.8 or 10, they will sometimes specify what we have to do. That we will see during the numericals part. Approximately we also write this as 10 meters per second square. Now the next part is we'll understand the difference between universal gravitational constant and acceleration due to gravity. So, difference between gravitational constant and acceleration due to gravity. Now, gravitational constant value we all know that it is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square, where acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meters per second square. Same SI unit for acceleration what we use. Its value remains constant always and everywhere, but its value varies at places. So different places, so different are the acceleration due to gravities. I mean that value varies. Scalar quantity, vector quantity. Now scalar quantity, it has only number, magnitude, but no direction. So this is a vector quantity, it has both magnitude as well as a direction, because we need to know in which direction the body is moving. Only then we can define, we can check its acceleration due to gravity. Now with respect to acceleration due to gravity, let us understand few equations of motion. We have already studied equations of motion as what? S is equal to ut plus half at square v square, right? Those three equations of motion what we have studied, we are going to redefine them with respect to acceleration due to gravity. That is simple. Wherever we had A, we are going to replace that by G. So let's understand or let's learn three equations of motion with respect to acceleration due to gravity. So the next concept here is equations of motion that we had already done previously. Here, when the object is freely falling towards the earth or when the object is thrown vertically upwards, that is against the earth. So what are the equations of motion? If I have to just write, it is V is equal to U plus AT, which is also written as A is equal to V minus U by T. Then S is equal to ut plus half at square, v square is equal to u square plus 2as, right? So wherever we have A, we have replaced that by G. Wherever we had acceleration, we have replaced that by acceleration due to gravity. Wherever we had distance es, we have replaced that by height, because it is a free falling body. We are going to calculate distance, but in terms of height. Okay, V is equal to U plus GT, H is equal to UT plus half GT square, V square is equal to U square plus 2GS. The value of G varies from plus or minus 9.8 meters per second square. So G is positive 9.8 meters per second square if it is a free falling body. The value of G is minus 9.8 meters per second square if the body is thrown vertically upwards. These things what you have to remember, you are going to apply this in the numericals. The next concept what we are studying here is about mass and weight. The next concept is about mass and weight. So how is mass different from weight? The mass of the body is the quantity of matter contained in it. So now if I talk about a body, so what quantity or what matter is present within me, that is the mass of the body. Then what is the weight of the body? Now the weight of the body is the force with which an object is attracted towards the earth, the center of the earth, what I can say. That is, weight of the body is nothing but the product of mass into its gravity, right? That means now mass of the body, whatever it is, it's same at every place. What is mass? The matter which is present in the body. Suppose if I am on the planet Earth, if I am on the moon, or if I am on any other planet, not anybody in that matter, will have same mass. But what about weight? Weight will vary from one place to another place, right? So weight of a person on the earth as well as on the moon will vary. By how much it will vary, we also have a relation on that. Next, mass remains constant. We have another definition. For mass, if they ask definition for a mass of the body is the quantity of matter contained in it. Wherein weight is a force with which the object is attracted towards the center of the earth. It is also measured, or mass is measured by its inertia. Definition, it could be that. Mass remains constant at all places as we discussed, but the weight of an object is different at different places. Mass does not change even if the gravity is zero. That means at any place, the mass will remain same irrespective of the gravity. True, right? So my mass on the earth is what it is. It will be same on the moon. Moon has no gravity, but still the mass remains the same. But weight, what I am weighing here on the earth will not be same on the moon because it will be different. So weight is zero because gravity is zero. So weight will differ with respect to gravity. So if the weight is zero, if gravity is zero, then the weight also is zero. Now when we talk about gravity, that means gravity differs from a place to place. Yes. What are the factors which will affect the value of G? Now we all know that what is the shape of our earth? The shape of our earth is sphere, right? But it is not a perfect sphere. That is the only reason why the value of the G varies. How? Earth is not a perfect sphere. The radius of the earth increases when we go from pole to equator. So if the radius of the earth increases when we go from pole to equator, definitely the value of the G also has to change there. So we always consider the G value as constant at the surface of the earth or a bit closer to it. We consider one constant value. Assuming that the object is closer or on the surface of the earth, we consider that value as 9.8. Now when in the numerical side, we will not tell that the object is near the pole or near the equator. No. One constant value of G what we consider is that is on the surface of the earth or nearer to the earth. Now the another concept which I was telling you here was what is the mass or how do we weigh with respect to the earth and respect to the moon. We do not have a derivation, but we simply have one constant, or we simply have a formula to understand that about the comparison or the relation between the weight mass or relation between on the moon and on the earth. On these two things, how does that vary? That relation we have to remember as few numericals which are asked on them. So the last concept about mass and weight when we were talking about relationship between weight of the object or moon. This derivation we need not remember, children. Only one thing what you have to know here is weight of the object on moon. Now Wm represents weight of the object on moon is 1/6 the weight of the object on earth. This relation, if you remember, we have one or two basic simple numericals on this. Let me give you an example. Suppose if you weigh 60 kg on earth. Okay. So what is your weight on moon? So let's see what will you weigh on moon. So it is 1/6 the weight on the earth. So 1/6 into 60 tens are on moon you weigh 10 kg, right? It's nice. You weigh 60 kg on earth. That means you can tell that on moon I weigh 10 kg. Example, right? So this is how we correlate the weight on object on moon as well as on the earth. We actually have derived this. We come to a conclusion with the derivation where we know the mass of an object on earth, on moon, and how the 1/6 relation comes. We bring it to the derivation form. Derivation is not important. You just remember this relation. On this we have our auto numericals which you can remember. So with this we end today's session on chapter gravitation. Our next session we will study about thrust and pressure, Archimedes principle. Under that we will study about the buoyant force, and then about density and relative density, and numericals based on the whole chapter gravitation.